The Sunbeam. A large, well-stocked merchant ship sails from Stormbreak Island towards the unknown, uninhabited island of Skaani. It flies the flags of the March Wardens, and specifically House de Fenix. It is accompanied by a smaller warship named the Phoenix's Pride. It is shortly after daybreak, and the docks of the Stormbreak harbor are already crowded with sailors, dock workers, children running underfoot, merchants cutting deals, and peddlers with their carts. The wind snaps and tugs at the colorful banners from across the known world, none so much as the purple and gold banners of the March Wardens. A harbor master blows his whistle, and his workers scurry away from two ships as they are unmoored and begin drifting off into the waves. The ships are constructed of the dark wood of the March's forest, and both bear the banners of the March Wardens, and a second set of banners, cobalt, with a silver phoenix. The larger of the ships is a cog, the Sunbeam, with sails of striped white and blue. The smaller ship is a modified cavarael, the Phoenix's Pride, with simple canvas sails and 4 cannons mounted on her top deck. Mayve stands at the railing of the Sunbeam in a blue surcoat that is too big for her, with untested bow at her back and borrowed sword at her hip. She grabs the railing with white knuckles, and her face is pallid and tense. Ulfhildr rushes to the railing of the ship, throws her head over the side, and violently vomits into the sea. After a few moments, she looks up and scowls at Maeve's worried expression. "Why the long face, Mayve? I thought this would be your sort of trip. On one of your ships, on the high sea, with lots of waves. Ulfhildr vomits again.
I'm actually not really one for sailing.
Her voice softens, almost a mumble.
Deep water. I've read terrible stories of beasts and ships that never return to harbour.
Ulfhildr raises her head slightly. I've heard a bit from our seafaring lodge members down in the Broken Wing Tavern about sea beasts. Definitely not my specialty, my friend. I can barely hold myself together as it is on this boat. I assumed all the March Wardens were at home on the seas.
I was born on the water, and have lived my whole life staring at the waves. But I was never taught the ways of a ship. Not of the right constitution, my brother says. Ironic, isn't it, that I speak for people who make their way on the water, and yet I can hardly stomach it.
A bit. But a bit of caution in the face of possible sea beasts is never a bad thing. And in my personal opinion, I believe your brother is vastly underestimating you. From the time I have known you in Heinefall, your constitution was never in question, my lady.
Thank you, Lady Ulfhildr. That means much, coming from one held in such esteem by her own guild.
Maeve smiles, some color returning to her cheeks.
May I fetch you something for your stomach? I've brought ginger and lemon candies.
Ulfhildr groans a bit at her stomach. Please, if you would be so kind. This is going to be a miserable trip for me. I already miss the ground beneath my feet. Maeve inclines her head and hurries below to the ship's first lower deck, which includes the galley, the captain's quarters, a small head, and a half-dozen cabins for passengers and officers. She goes to one of the cabins near the bow of the ship. The cabin is small and simple, lit by an oil lamp, but cozy. 2 berths and a writing desk attached to the walls, a few stools, and 2 trunks. Handmade quilts adorn each berth, and a wooden staff is propped up by the door. Maeve's cabin maid is not here. She retrieves a small jar from one of the trunks, the one painted with colorful flowers, and returns to the deck.
It is only a week-long trip, I am told, and then we shall have much time on dry land.
She opens and extends the jar to Ulfhildr. The honey-colored candies tinkle against the glass.
And the ship doesn't sway so much near the bow. The front.
Ulfhildr sighs. Thank you, Lady Mayve. I think I will take this and a heavy dose of rum and call it a night. Hopefully I will grow some sea legs tomorrow. Ulfhildr sways back and forth on her way back to the cabins, gripping both sides of the handrails tightly as she descends down the stairs.